welcome back to 17 square meters garden. Today I'm out on my balcony and I'm gonna be doing some late winter maintenance. I have a whole bunch of things to do, but this video is gonna be more of like a general cleanup because I do have a lot of things to do. But I was thinking that some of those things I would like to include in separate videos. Like I would like to make a specific videos on certain topics to share with you some tips on growing different plants in containers and maintenance of different plants in containers. For example, I have my Acer here that needs to be repotted, but I'm not gonna repot it in this video because I'm gonna make a separate video on Acers because I've been asked to make a video on Acers and Japanese maples for as long as I can remember. So that's the kind of things that I want to put in separate videos. But nonetheless, I have a whole bunch of things to do. So what we are gonna do in this video is I have blueberries that need to be pruned. I want to clean up a little bit my alpine strawberries. What else? I have a chrysanthemum that needs to be pruned because we can already see fresh growth from the base because I keep my chrysanthemums as perennials. I winter them over on the balcony because the longer you grow them, the older they are, the more resistant they become. So yeah, it's pushing new growth, so I have to prune it back. I have some weeds. I got quite a lot of weeds actually in my pots this year, so I'm gonna remove those because they compete with your plants for water and nutrients, so they have to be removed. What else? I have some succulents that needs to be repotted, succulents that I keep on my balcony year round. So yeah, a whole bunch of random things. Hope that you will enjoy it, hope that it will motivate you to go out on your balcony to do some cleanup, because honestly, there is nothing more relaxing than just going out on your balcony, cleaning things up, getting ready for spring, making things nice and tidy. I find it super satisfying. Okay, enough talking, let's start doing some cleanup. Okay, whole bunch of things in here. I'm doing some propagation and stuff, so the space is quite limited in this corner, but I have to clean up these alpine strawberries. Whole bunch of dead leaves. There are even some berries on them still. I mean, they are crazy. They produce literally year round. Obviously the berries don't really ripen in winter, but I think these are actually the yellow kind, so they might be even ripe. Yeah, they're ripe. They're super good actually. Okay, 2 alpine strawberries to prune. Okay, let's do this. Oh, these ones are red, you guys. There are some red alpine strawberries in the middle of winter. Crazy. If you don't grow alpine strawberries on your balcony, I highly recommend growing them from seeds. Look at this. There's a red alpine strawberry. Yum. Another one. Okay, I should stop eating and start working. I don't really pay attention, you know, like I just cut out as much as I can. Even if I cut some green leaves, that's okay, you know. I have no time to just cut out leaf by leaf, you know, just grabbing this and pruning it a bit. The alpine strawberries are cleaned up, and then I have to repot my succulents. So I have one aloe, and as you can see, it outgrew its pot completely, and I have plenty of babies. I actually repotted it last spring already, so this spring I have to repot it again. It's crazy how large it is. It grows in part shade since many years on this balcony, and it's just a massive plant. And then I have my sedum, I think it's a sedum palmeri, palmeria, I have no idea how to pronounce it correctly. And it's about to bloom. It always blooms with beautiful yellow flowers in the spring, but I want to repot it into a slightly larger pot. So these 2 guys need to be repotted. Let's do it now. It's so heavy actually, I mean, crazy. There we go. Whoa, okay. That's crazy. All of those roots. Okay, it's done. Aloe is repotted, sedum is repotted. I will water everything at the end. Okay, so now that we are here, we are gonna prune my blueberries. And now a few words about blueberries. I'm not gonna go into details because I do not have time in this video to talk all about pruning blueberries, because that's like a really large topic and there's a lot to it. Pruning fruit bushes is not something that you explain in 5 minutes, but just briefly. So my blueberries are 2-year old. I bought them last year. I have a video actually about it when I planted them. So when it comes to pruning blueberries, you have to do it every single year, starting from year number 1. So year number 1 was last year. They were already pruned when I bought them. So this is going to be year 2 pruning, and then next year is going to be year 3 pruning, and only like the year 4 that they start to really produce abundantly. Do not expect any fruit during the first year. I mean, it's not even recommended to keep any flowers on them. I think that only one of them had sunflowers last year, which I pinched off, because it's best for them to put on vegetative growth and root growth. So the first year they're not going to produce any flowers, any berries, therefore. The second year they might produce some blueberries, and obviously, I mean, when you grow something for 2 years, you want at least a handful of blueberries, but it's still recommended to really prune them harsh, to give them a good form, to set, you know, the plant so that it has a nice shape, so that later on, year 4, year 5, you can expect nice harvest. So this is year 2 pruning. These are really young plants, so it's gonna be different if you have a mature plants. So blueberries, they produce fruit on the last year's growth, so they are old wood bloomers. And as you can see here, all of these is a new growth, so that's something that they grew last year. And as you can see here, when I zoom in, excuse my dirty hands, but as you can see, there is a nice thick branch, and these fat buds at the end, you can see them, these are fruiting buds. So all of these will turn into blueberries, and then these smaller buds here, they are leafing buds, so that they will produce leaves. Blueberries here, fruit here, leaves here. And now there's a lot of that spindly, very weak growth, so that's something that we need to cut back, because the aim of early years pruning is to keep only thick branches, because we want a nice thick base, and from this base will be second year growth, and then from that second year growth will be nice third year growth next year, and only then your blueberry bush is gonna produce nice and abundantly. So my 2 blueberries, they are called, one of them is called Brigitta Blue, the other one is Pink Lemonade, and they are dwarf varieties. They are also self-pollinating, so you need only one in order to produce fruits. So yeah, as I said, I'm gonna cut out all of that weak spindly growth, all of the branches that go towards the inside of the plant, and honestly, it's quite intuitive. Like, I mean, there are rules, as I said. You want to keep only strong branches, and you want the plant to have a nice thick base, nicely spaced. But yeah, it's also a lot about intuition. Okay. Okay, it may seem quite severe, but that's literally what you have to do. Like, you have to clean all the unnecessary branches, just keeping the thickest ones. Now this one. So this is what I decided to keep. I'm not shortening the branches. They're quite tall actually, but just cut out all the spindly growth, all the rubbing and crossing branches, all the unnecessary weak growth, and I'm gonna stay with that. Okay, and now I'm just gonna go really quick to prune my chrysanthemum, because as I said, there's a bunch of new growth already starting at the base, and there's still old yellow growth at the top, and that's gonna be it for pruning. So I have this heuchera in here, and normally I do not prune really my heucheras other than just removing, you know, damaged leaves. But this one, I mean, every now and then I will prune them, especially like this one. You know, all the leaves are flopped and it's looking not so good. So I think I will go ahead and prune all of the leaves because there are, in all cases, there are fresh leaves coming from the center of the plant. Heucheras, they are evergreen, so they keep their foliage year round, but you know, all the dead foliage tends to accumulate at the bottom as they push new growth all the time. The older leaves, they die, or they just look, you know, really ugly. So I will go ahead and prune all of it, and you know, it's starting to get warmer and warmer, so in all cases it's gonna push new growth, and this way I will have nice and fresh leaves instead of those old and sadly hanging ones that are damaged by slugs and caterpillars in all cases. So I don't recommend doing this every single year, but you know, every 2-3 years, when you see that your heuchera starts to look a little bit tired, you can like divide it. I actually am gonna make a video on propagating heucheras, so we are gonna divide some heucheras a little bit later in a couple of weeks. But yeah, it's good to repot it every 2-3 years because, as you can see, it forms clumps like this, and when it just accumulates in the center after the plant, it doesn't look as healthy as before. So it's nice to divide them, to give them a bit of a haircut, to rejuvenate them. Okay, you guys, the balcony is clean. I mean, it's semi-clean and semi-ready for spring. As I said, I still have a lot of things to do, mostly repotting some plants that outgrew their pots and dividing some perennials. But as I said, I want to keep that for separate videos to not mix everything into one. And yeah, you guys, if you have some ideas, if you have some suggestions, if there's anything specific that you would like to see and you would like me to make a video about, do not hesitate to write that in the comment section. I'm open for your propositions. If possible, obviously, I will try to make a video like that. And yeah, I'm really happy that I made this cleanup today because it was nice and warm, and we are gonna have temperatures below freezing this week. So I'm happy that what needed to be done is done. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Hope that you enjoyed following along this balcony garden maintenance day. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, see you again in the next video. Bye!